In the previous video, I talked in detail about fasting and all the ins and outs. Then I answered every question I had been asked. If you haven't, go and watch it after this one. The link is below. I have lost more weight since that video, which is obvious if you compare them side by side. I'm on my way back to 6% body fat, and I'll tell you how I'm actually doing it this time. So why am I making another video? First of all, because I was asked new and interesting questions in the comments under that video. Moreover, I'm sharing my typical day, including everything I eat, portion sizes, and my exercise routine. To top it all off, I'm sharing my personal stats, height, weight, loose skin, as well as my energy levels, and how I combine creativity and mental productivity with fasting. Does fasting affect metabolism? Does it increase stress and cortisol? How to break a stall? How to get the protein needs on OMAD? And many more. The answer to some of these may surprise you. Sit tight. This will be a very interesting video. I'll share the stuff nobody talks about in one video. If you want to lose a massive amount of weight, fast, while keeping or adding muscle mass, break a stall, or even age in reverse and regain your youth energy and vitality, this video is for you. Save it to a playlist and watch it again. Share it with your family members, because I know they usually don't listen. But this might change their minds, because I'm telling you the truth. This video gives you the motivation, the knowledge, and the evidence, all three crucial elements in one place. First of all, you can and will absolutely get the leanness level you want with fasting. It works all the time, without fail, and is sustainable if done correctly. Before getting into the new questions, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel by subscribing and liking the videos. We are getting close to 7,000 subscribers, and 10,000 is no longer just a dream. I have a message to all of you at any age, whether male or female. Let's get lean, fit, healthy, and medication free. Right now I'm completing my website's product page that includes complete courses for every type of diet, with carbs, without carbs, keto, carnivore, vegetarian, intermittent fasting, you name it. That includes how to get to sub 10% body fat at any age and any starting point, activity and exercise plans, lifestyle plans, my ebooks, book summaries, motivation posters you can print and hang on your wall, and much more. It's in the making as of now, so it's not published yet as of August 2025, but will be ready in September. I'll put the link below, but hear me out. To celebrate, once the channel hits 10,000 subscribers, I'll make all of them free for 24 hours to every subscriber who has commented anything, except negative ones of course, under this video. I'll reply you the code. And of course, if you need support and private coaching to start your journey right now, I'll put a link in the description. Before getting into the question number 1, let me share with you what happened today. Hang on a sec. As I was making my morning coffee, my friend and housemate was packing his stuff to travel to Thailand and meet his long-distance fiancée. "Are you excited?" I asked. His reply was very interesting, which is common for most people over 40. He said, "I don't get excited about anything anymore. Everything is the same, all predictable, all boring." I replied, "So life has lost its magic for you, right?" He nodded yes and said, "For a long time." I told him that it's a conscious choice to be fascinated by life. I'm 41 already, the same age as yours, and every day is a new adventure for me. He asked me how. I replied, it's simple. Number 1, fasting. Number 2, exercise. I know he will not make any changes in his life, so I don't bother, but I'm sharing this with you, and I know at least some of you will take action. These two scientific discoveries are by far the most interesting ones for me. The first one is this. The sea squirt uses its brain only to find its home. Once it attaches to a reef close to a nutrient-rich stream and no longer needs to move, it literally digests its brain. Biologists sometimes use this as a metaphor for humans who stop learning, growing, or challenging themselves. My interpretation is this. When you fast, your brain ramps up focus and energy-seeking behavior because it needs to help you find food. When you exercise, your body and nervous system are constantly challenged, which keeps your brain sharp and your metabolism alive. So in a way, fasting plus exercise equals keeping your brain switch turned on, instead of becoming like the sea squirt that just settles, eats, and loses its edge. And the second landmark research is even more interesting. It is the one done on rats, comparing two groups. One group ate freely whenever food was available. The other group was fed only at specific times, but the total amount of calories was the same. The results shocked the whole scientific community. The group that ate freely aged poorly, gained excess fat, developed insulin resistance, had higher rates of tumors and cardiovascular disease, and their lifespans were significantly shorter. Their brains also showed faster decline, with weaker learning and memory as they got older. By contrast, the fasting rats stayed leaner, had better glucose control, lower inflammation, and far fewer age-related disease. Their lifespans were extended by 30 to 50% in some experiments, and their brains actually performed better. More synaptic plasticity, better memory, and resistance to neurodegenerative changes. Here's the shocker. The rats that were forced to fast, even without eating fewer calories overall, showed better health markers than those on simple calorie restriction. Hang on a sec. The strongest benefits were seen in the group that combined both fasting and calorie restriction. These rats lived even longer than even fasting alone or calorie restriction alone. They showed the lowest rates of cancer and metabolic disease. Their brains were the most resilient, better memory, less oxidative damage, and more neurogenesis. Markers of cellular repair like autophagy and reduced inflammation were highest in this group. Whenever someone tells me that I don't look 41, I show them this picture of mine, in which I was 38. Not only did I look older, but I felt even much older. You can just compare us side by side. Now let's continue to the new questions. Number 1. Fasting every day will slow down my metabolism. Let me give you my honest answer, based on my 17 months of experiment and lots of research. Both types of research which say it doesn't or it does slow down are misleading. Hear me out. Anytime you're doing something aggressive, the body adjusts on the opposite side of the spectrum to keep the status quo. If you all of a sudden cut the calories, it's the same story. That's why you stall, which I'll get to that later. The same happens when you do physical activity. For example, when you run 10 miles, the body wants to rest afterwards. The body wants to store as much energy as possible. Energy is expensive in the universe. Only in the recent times have we had access to so much in excess. And let me tell you, it gets worse with age. The older you get, the more the body wants to conserve energy. Why? From an evolutionary perspective, it makes sense for the body to prioritize energy and repair in those at their prime. Men at fighting and hunting age, women at reproductive age. The default setting is decline after prime years. To reactivate those same repair mechanisms later in life, you have to convince your body that you're still essential for the survival of the species. The way to do that is by mimicking the pressures young people face, like scarcity, struggle, challenge, and competition. But unlike past generations, today we can pair these survival signals with ideal nutrition that used to be allocated to the young only, which are high-quality protein and micronutrients. That's how you get vitality, joy, and zest. Comfort kills you slowly. That's what I wanted to tell my friend, but I didn't, for obvious reasons. Namely, he's not ready to be unplugged. He literally told me one day that medical science is now so advanced, there's a pill for every health problem he might face. That's what I call being misled. Now pay attention. Fasting is not and should not be starvation. In that one meal, you should only eat the most nutritious foods. If you eat junk food every day, that's when you'll have problems. Question number 2. Fasting increases stress and cortisol. To that I say, yes, it does. But just like the previous question, you are taking things out of context and mixing up ideas which don't translate well to real life. In a Stanford study, participants were split into 2 groups. One told that stress is beneficial. The other told it's harmful. Both groups faced the same stressful tasks. Those primed to see stress as beneficial showed healthier hormone and cardiovascular responses, while those told it was harmful showed markers linked to disease. You see, it's all in the mind. Controlled stress is good. It's the fear and helplessness that is poisoning your body and mind, not the stress itself. Exercise is stressful for the body. Changing environments or habits, starting a business, marriage, kids, life is stress. From the moment a child is born, life begins with stress. Any organism that sheds its skin goes through stress, or a chick breaking out of its shell, a moth emerging from its cocoon. Stress is growth. What's harmful isn't stress itself, but the anxiety and negative thoughts. 3. I can't lift the same amount of weight at the gym when I work out fasted. I already talked about this one in the previous video, but since some of you are still asking, I'll say it again. You don't have to lift heavy to gain muscle. Fasting increases HGH, which preserves muscle. Also, focusing on weight training or resistance training to lose weight is the most useless thing you can do for your fat loss. Because weight loss or fat loss is 95% diet, and the other 5% is steady state cardio, not weightlifting. I have heard numerous times that more muscle equals more caloric burning even while asleep, but that is negligible against what you eat. I lost most of my weight without exercise because I had multiple injuries in the beginning of my weight loss journey. I couldn't even walk for long. Go to any gym and the concentration of fat people is higher than you see on the street, all fat and bulky. I personally have always preferred an athletic look over the bulky Harley-Davidson biker style, not to mention the health side of things. Actually, it's very interesting. There is this guy called Anatoly on YouTube who dresses as a janitor and lifts heavier than all those huge jacked up guys in the gym, shocking everyone. Yet he still looks skinny in clothes. Pure dense muscle does not equal bulk, but the bulk is mostly fat and glycogen, which is in turn mostly water. And its only use outside of strongman or powerlifting is intimidation. Having said that, I do recommend strength training, but not as a priority. Once you're fully adapted to fasting, then you can focus more on developing muscle to gain an aesthetic physique and more bone density. I'll share my exercise routine later in the video. 4. You cannot hit your protein targets eating once a day. Or how much protein do you consume in that one meal? Or the other version is this: you can get your caloric needs in one meal. This is a classic one, and honestly I missed it in the previous video. But fortunately there are always many more people who remind me of that by asking the same question over and over again. Here's my answer. That's one of the biggest misconceptions in the fitness industry. Let's close that case once and for all. Caloric needs, protein goals, what does that even mean? Why do you think you should have a protein goal or eating above a certain calorie number? I know every fitness guy on YouTube talks about protein goals and eating more calories, but I'm different and I guess you already know. First, let's discuss the calories. How are you going to lose fat without reducing the calories? You can never out-exercise your diet. The more you exercise, the hungrier you get, not to mention the less NEAT or non-exercise activity thermogenesis to compensate for the consumed energy. You simply rest more after exercise. Now the protein side of things. I simply prioritize the best protein, healthy fats, the most nutritious foods, and I'm good to go. You don't even need protein supplements unless you're a vegan. I never take any protein or amino acid supplements. For me, meat is enough, and I never count anything, neither calories, macros, nor portion sizes. And if I do estimate them, it's only after the fact, to answer your questions, not for myself. I eat to full satisfaction, and that's it. My portion sizes are highly variable, based on my activity levels and how hungry I am in that day. But I'll share what I eat and how much I typically eat in a minute. I have enough energy and muscle to do any type of exercise I want. In fact, I'm planning to train for a marathon, fully fasted, on OMAD and on a carnivore diet, while in a single-digit body fat percentage. Let me know if you want to see me actually race a marathon. But ultimately, I don't care about calories and macros. If I look the way I want and feel the way I want, that is my ultimate judge. 5. Can I have cheat meals? The answer is obvious. If you're getting to this with the idea of cheating in the first place, you have lost the battle before even starting. This is not for lazy people, because lazy people do one of these two things. Number 1, they stay fat. Number 2, resort on drugs or medical procedures to lose weight, which usually don't work long term. Then they blame it on their genes. Since you're watching this, it's most likely that you are motivated. But look around you and you'll see most people seek comfort rather than growth, exactly like my friend. Then they make peace with the fact that with age, it gets boring and less fun. It's not just laziness, it's combined with arrogance, a deadly combination which ultimately leads to stupidity. 6. What if I slip up? This one's legit, it happened to me early on too. Fasting is a big mindset shift, so it's natural to slip up sometimes. It's a part of the journey. Just forget it and move on. Don't let one meal destroy your whole day or worse, your entire journey. The real downside of slipping up is that it can stall your weight loss. But mistakes happen, and you pay the price. No use dwelling on it. As you get more and more adapted, you won't even have any desire to break your fast before the mealtime or have bad food in your mealtime. This happened to me 3 months into my journey when I completely lost all desire for junk food or sugar. And a few months later, I started to dislike alcohol as well. Question number 7. OMAD is not sustainable. Well, it has been sustainable for me and many more people. It's much more sustainable than calorie restriction and calorie counting. I can eat to full satisfaction and still lose weight. Anytime I want to keep the same weight rather than losing, I can simply add more calories by adding more healthy fats. Honestly, when you adapt to OMAD lifestyle, every day is so exciting that I don't think you can go back to the old ways. You might derail for a short time, let's say while traveling. But if you're like me, you'll miss the OMAD lifestyle very soon and will hop back on. Now the other question is sub 10% body fat sustainable year-round? And my answer is this: if all your nutrition is dialed in, it's definitely sustainable. Most people fall off because they see sub 10% as just a short-term cut after a bulk, not as a way of living. But if you build the right habits, you can hold it year-round without feeling deprived, even after 40 and 50. My plan is to get back to 6% body fat. Now, I know some people are gonna comment, that's not 6%, but these are just estimates. And at some point, probably in the next couple of months, I'm gonna get a DEXA scan to give you the exact number. But let's suppose 6%. As soon as I get to 6% body fat, I'm gonna try to sustain it long term, using strategies such as supplementing, eating organ meats, more seafood, and adding back more fat once I get there. So far, it has worked amazingly well. Question number 8, which is very interesting. I'm stalling on OMAD. First, let me tell you why you are stalling on fat loss and why it is in fact a good thing. You should stall. Yes, you heard me correctly. This is what I have discovered. What we call a stall or a plateau is actually our body's mechanism to create balance and equilibrium. It happens when your caloric intake and expenditure equalize. Bear in mind that I'm not discussing weight loss stall, which can be because of developing more muscle. What I'm discussing here is a fat loss plateau. Why is that a good thing? Because anytime your body is in balance, the energy levels and hormones get optimal. During aggressive weight loss or weight cut, the body is playing catch up. You may feel a lack of energy as a consequence. Therefore, every once in a while, the weight loss stops and the body readjusts to the new weight. The overall progress is not linear. In fact, you have to let the body do its own thing. Let it keep the balance instead of constantly pushing it. Once you're ready, you will push it further towards more fat loss. And I'll tell you how to do it, which is how to break a stall. Let's say you have been in the same weight for some time, for example 4 weeks, and you know it's not muscle gain. And now you're ready to lose more weight. How do you go about it? Simply by lowering the calories. In my experience, usually increasing the physical activity levels only works towards fat loss if you have lowered the calories first. So the way to decrease the calories in a healthy way is to cut the carbohydrates as much as possible and only keep the essential amino acids, aka protein, and essential fatty acids, aka healthy fats. And there are no essential carbohydrates. What if you did that but are still not losing weight? Then the next option is to lower the fat. That usually happens at about 10% body fat when you are pushing for sub 10%. In my case, pushing from 10% to 6% body fat. The method I chose was low-fat carnivore diet, and it worked like a charm. I lost 5 pounds in 1 month, and I'm continuing to lose weight. This happened after 2 months of stalling at 12.5% body fat. It's not easy, and certainly it's not for everyone. But give sub 10% body fat a chance, and you might like it. I know for myself that I love it. Do you want to know my blood test results? Subscribe and hit the notification. I'll get a blood test soon, and I'll share you the results. Question 9. You're unhealthy. You have dark bags under your eyes. First of all, let me take off my sunglasses. To answer that, I have always had dark circles under my eyes, since I was born. It's a genetic thing. In fact, it was way worse when I was fat. It's also affected by lack of sleep and stress, but it's always there nonetheless. But let me tell you something. Even if it was a price I had to pay to have my current physique, I would have gladly paid it. Number 10. Did you get loose skin? Alright. To my surprise, I didn't get a lot of it. Fasting enhances autophagy and cell cleanup. It's the best type of eating to absorb some of that loose skin. Combine that with a ketogenic diet and high collagen consumption, and you have maximized your chances of shrinking it. As a side note, what you assume as loose skin is more often than not just a layer of fat under your skin, aka subcutaneous fat. So this is my current loose skin. I'm very happy about it. It's not obvious at all. I do ab exercises to make it even less noticeable. But let me tell you, even if you do get loose skin, it is still 100 times better than being obese. Now let me talk about my daily foods and exercises. I have been asked about this a lot, probably more than anything else. If you're more interested on my day-to-day workouts, diets and motivation, follow me on Instagram. But here I'm gonna give you a quick overview. I usually wake up at 7 a.m. Then I have a cup of black coffee with nothing added. Sometimes I replace that with loose leaf black tea to reset my caffeine sensitivity. Then I immediately start working. I don't go to a job, so the things I do are coaching weight loss clients internationally and online, creating personalized plans based on age, gender, preferences, health, etc. And afterwards, I research scientific studies online on health and nutrition to get myself more educated. Then I make videos, edit, etc. So my day is usually very packed. And I usually work until 5 p.m., taking regular breaks to walk and get some fresh air. Sometimes I sit in the sun to get some vitamin D for 5 minutes and go back to work. Actually, my mind is much sharper and my creativity is soaring during fasting every day. This is due to increased BDNF, or brain-derived nootropic factor. On Saturdays, I switch the exercise time to morning and push myself harder. On Sundays, I relax a bit, go to the beach and get some sunlight on my skin. I read books, I listen to audiobooks while on long walks, which sharpens my motivation and willpower. My exercise time is usually around 5 to 6 p.m. I get my daily physical activity even if it's just walking, and that's non-negotiable. Not only for weight loss, but also for health, energy levels, brain function. The benefits are numerous. Now if you're already fasting and exercise in a fasted state, that's when you're taking your fat burning to extreme levels. Each step you take is another fat cell shrinking, and before you know it, the belly fat and the love handles are gone. Now my exercises. My exercises vary. Some days I go for long walks, minimum 3 miles, maximum 15 miles, which is usually on Saturdays. On other days I run, usually between 3 miles and 10 miles. Some days I do resistance training, usually push-ups, pull-ups, body weight, other leg exercises, abs. If it's rainy, I run on the treadmill. If my legs are sore from the previous day doing squats, I use the elliptical machine the next day. One thing to mention is that I have a left shoulder injury, so I cannot push my upper body too hard. I am always very careful. I have modified all my exercises and do them slowly and with a lot of focus not to get hurt again. If the inflammation flares up, I stop upper body workouts for a week or two and focus on rehabilitation instead. One huge benefit of exercise is that I don't feel hunger while I'm moving. That's why I often keep it fairly close to mealtime. Now after exercise, I go back to working for an hour or two, including coaching calls, until I get hungry, and I usually eat at 9 to 10 p.m. Is it bad to eat that late? Not if you don't eat carbs or a lot of fat. I usually go to bed at around 11 p.m. And for me, 6 to 7 hours of sleep is enough. I don't get too picky about sleep. My philosophy is this: if your body needs 6 hours, that's enough. If it requires 8, then do 8. I have seen so many people anxious about how much sleep they get, which that anxiety actually interferes with the sleep. Not to mention taking meds with serious side effects, or tolerance and dependency. Your body instinctively knows if you need more or less sleep. If I get sleepy, I either take a nap or go to bed earlier that night. Now what do I eat? What I eat at any period of time highly depends on whether I want to lose weight or maintain the same weight. If I'm losing weight, my current body fat matters a lot. I change or tweak my eating plan every 4 weeks, and I do the same for my program members. I'll take all the variables into consideration. I'll make another video soon, documenting my entire journey and sharing my diet at each step of the way, starting at 30% body fat all the way down to 6%. So stay tuned. Most of my food is comprised of beef steak, lamb, eggs, chicken, sometimes pork. I squeeze a lemon, both for the taste and the vitamin C. I eat raw onions, garlics, and pickled chili peppers on the side. If I'm thirsty, I drink 0-calorie drinks, either with the meal or after, what we call cordials here, which are called drink mixes in the US. I know someone will comment that they're not so healthy. So is being fat. You can't do everything 100% by the book. If it's 99% on point, that's fine, so relax. I'll make a separate video just for vegans, and I won't get into that now because it's a whole different story. But what's important to share here is this. When I wanted to break the plateau and get to 6% body fat quick, I reduced the amount of fat. That worked, but then I noticed fatigue and less energy the next day. How did I fix that? By doing these 3 things without adding the fats and calories. Number 1, I introduced organ meats and I ate them once a week. These are lamb kidneys, lamb liver or fries, and lamb hearts. 2, I started to eat fish once a week, salmons, sardines, etc. And 3, by taking supplements more seriously, especially vitamin D. It worked wonderfully and I got back my full energy, and I'm still losing fat. Now portion sizes. As I said earlier, my portion sizes vary depending on how hungry I am on that day. I don't measure anything and I eat until I'm full. Your portions should not be the same as mine. It depends on many factors such as height, bone mass, average build and stature, your goals, and a lot of other stuff. I'll share my height and weights in a minute. Last night I measured my portions just because of you, and these are the results. Bear in mind that yesterday I had a high intensity exercise session, so I was hungrier and ate more. My OMAD was this: extra lean beef steak, which was 22 ounces or 622 grams in total when raw. After being cooked, it reduced to 19 ounces or 532 grams. I air fried them while basting with ghee, which was probably 1 tablespoon in total. I ate a quarter of a red onion and a few garlic cloves, weighing around 1.5 ounces or 50 grams, and a few chili peppers, like 10 grams. I squeezed half a medium-sized lemon on the steaks, then I ate 3 small to medium-sized free-range eggs. Afterwards, I drank a cup of zero-calorie drink, which is so refreshing and is possibly the most enjoyable part of my meal. Then I asked ChatGPT to calculate the macronutrients and total calories. These were the results: protein 163 grams, fat 72 grams, and carbs 12 grams. Total calorie 1,416 kilocalories. The treadmill reading of my calorie burned on that day was 705 kilocalories. Personally, I don't care about any of these numbers. I just did it for you to satisfy your curiosity. You don't have to count anything either. That's the best thing about OMAD. Just set it and forget it. Also, my diet works for me and my current stage of weight loss, as well as how hungry I am. You do whatever works for you. You shouldn't follow everything I do one by one, but you get the gist of it. I realized early on that with carbohydrates and with dairy as well as nuts, my satiety does not work very well and I overeat. But on the carnivore diet, especially low to medium fat, that does not happen at all. Each night after the meal, I take my supplements, such as potassium, magnesium, B complex, zinc, vitamin D, etc. The full list is below in the description. And the final one, my height and my weight. My height is 5'6", and when I started my journey in late March 2024, my weight was 177 pounds, which was roughly 30% body fat. My lowest weight in April 2025 was 126 pounds at about 6% body fat, which was my lowest. Then I relaxed a bit and gained some, which is the topic for another video. However, I'm now back on track on my way to 6% body fat. As I'm recording this video in late August 2025, my current weight is 130 pounds, with roughly 9% body fat. You can follow me on Instagram to know how much I weigh. Usually every day or every 2 or 3 days I'm gonna post. My ultimate goal is to be lean and stay lean while staying healthy and keeping my energy at its peak. That takes discipline and dedication. The leaner and more shredded you get, the less room there is for bad nutrition and sloppy habits. That's why so many influencers on YouTube and Instagram claim that staying lean is unhealthy. I'm here to prove them wrong, and I'll be sharing my blood work results soon to back that up. No feeling in the world compares to running 10 miles or more and feeling light as a feather. It's effortless, it's enjoyable. At 41, life feels more exciting than it ever did when I was a kid. The moment I threw out the mentality of chasing comfort, everything in life counterintuitively became easier. Alright, that's enough for today. Stay tuned for these upcoming videos. One of the videos I'm gonna make very soon is my complete weight loss journey, which is documentary style, in which I'm gonna share what I ate at each stage, the physical activity I did, and how I felt along the way. I'll also cover why I gained some weight in May and June this year and the lessons I took from it. 2. a full fasting and nutrition plan for vegans if there is interest in the comments. I'm not vegan myself, but I've coached vegan clients who have had amazing results. So, who's starting their journey today? What's your goal leanness level and body fat percentage? How do you plan to get there? And are you interested to see me train for a fully fasted, zero carb marathon? Comment below, and I'll see you soon.